Turn you episode. That way. Do that. And also just double check on the sound. Let's just check. Toot 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 toot. Let's just double check the sound. Toot toot. Check. Toot 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 toot. Everyone's happy. Easy as that. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. Yes, in the last episode we had continued on with Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice with the special episode Turnabout Time Traveler. We're just about to start day 2 of the trial. So we're going to jump straight into it. And let's go into day 2 of the trial and see how we get on against Miles and a time-travelling gentleman. So the one thing we found out yesterday is that Soren was there at the crime scene. I only hope I can get some testimony from him that'll get to the heart of the matter. Mr. Wright. Oh, good morning, Ellen. Look, I'm afraid you might not like the results of today's trial. Nevertheless, don't tell me you're still going to go going that route. Soren is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Alan, please. Try and get a hold of yourself. I believe in Soren with all my heart. So how dare you doubt him? Regardless of which one is found guilty today, it's going to be devastating for Alan, isn't it? Let's have to do everything we can. That's the best we can do, you know? Charles, welcome in, Mr. Wright. Alright, let's go, Maya. Yeah, no. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be married. If this is what marriage leads to, I don't want to be married anymore. This sucks, Nick! Nick! Day 2 court is now in session. All rise. Court is back in session for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Let's see now. Where were we? In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprocket family's conspiracy to cover up the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury. Dumas Gloomsbury with a second reception. Taking advantage of a collective shock, the defense, as usual, made a nonsensical claim, claiming that there was a third person present who struck the victim.
Objection!
Hey, you don't try to make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the existence of a third person. And further investigation has only proven her statement to be true. And I presume the defense intends to focus on proving the identity of this third person. Is that all right with you, Mr. Edgeworth? Indeed, Your Honor. In fact, I predict the defense will most likely attempt to name Mr. Soren Sprocket as the true culprit. How did you... The driver during the accident that killed Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had a motive to murder Mr. Bloomsbury. That's what you plan to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright? Am I really that transparent? Am I like dead on a ghost now? I'm dead, aren't I? This is like Ghost Detective all over again. God damn it, I'm Ghost Detective! God! Fine, whatever. Guess I'll just attempt to take Spirit of Edgeworth's cravat. God damn it. Oh, what the hell is going on? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, whatever. What do I care anymore? Congrats. But you're wrong. Sir didn't do it. He's innocent. Miss Wyatt, please. He's innocent, I tell you. What is this, Mr. Wright? Your claim about the existence of a third person came from the defendant. It did. This is just a minor hiccup. Sorry. Such a bad joke. Did you not discuss our strategy for the day with the defendant, Mr. Wright? Starting off on the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan. It would appear the defense is in disarray. Therefore, the best way to clear things up is by taking a shit. I mean, asking Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. And then going down the pub and having a pint. What do you expect from me? I like to get drunk. Anyway, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Soren Sprocket to the stand. What? Very well. Bailiff, please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand. Hello. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Ow! There's only written on this paper, let's see. Soren Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Aviation. Mrs. Sprocket, please give your answer in words, not paper airplanes. God damn it. You're a really difficult one, aren't you? Now then, Mr. Sprocket, please tell that doubting lawyer then what really happened at the time of the crime. Well, Mr. Sprocket, Mr. Sprocket. Fine, alright. Fine, whatever. You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception, when Alan and I were in the reception hall, right? Nothing in the power of court can stop him from marching to a beat of his own drum. Seriously. Fine, whatever. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't cross-examine him! I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall and I collapsed to the floor. The next thing I saw was Alan and Dumas on the Vista deck. I knew Alan was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. Hello there. But when I got there, Dumas was already, well. I mean, I don't want to believe it. But must have been nothing else makes sense. It's kind of just whatever, you know? Ah, hello. Wait just a minute here. You actually think Miss Wyatt killed the victim? Well, that's right. Dumas was killed by Alan. This is unbelievable. You suspect your own bride, the woman you love.
Objection!
The truth can be cruel. Miss Wyatt, you must be very upset. Is there anything you wish to say? Oh, Alan! Honey, dear, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. Okay? No, I can't believe this. Soren, I thought that at least you would believe in me. The best way not to show your love for your groom is to admit your guilt and try to atone. Soren. Mr. Edgeworth, I haven't even cross-examined a witness yet. Quit picking on the clearly distraught. Yeah, that's so not cool, Mr. Edgeworth. God is where we seek the truth, is it not? And the truth is unyielding, even at a truly pitiful. Mr. Edgeworth, I find it distasteful to make a lady cry. To your honour. So what are you going to make? If the third person Ellen saw on the Vista deck was Soren, then we have to prove Soren was there at the time of the murder. I don't see how any of these inconsistencies in the testimony, but we have to push forward.
Hold it!
Please tell me everything you can about when you got stabbed. How's the reception, Alan and I? Oh, here we go again. Oh my god. Alan and I were enjoying a moment alone in the reception hall. And Dermis appeared and stabbed me. Here we got Alan, the timekeeper, and well, left the reception hall. Did Mr. Greensbury say anything at the time? I don't really remember. After I was stabbed, I was mobilized by the pain. I see.
Hold it!
Hold it! The Vista deck, huh? But it was nighttime then. Could you really see them in the darkness? The moon was out, so I could see them clearly. And from the looks of it, Dumas was trying to push Alan and the timekeeper off the side. So you saw the defendant, about to be thrown off the airship, you say? That's right, yes. In such a desperate situation, it would only be natural for her to fight for her life. And the murder weapon was right there within her grasp. This isn't looking well at all. Gotta do something fast! The Vista deck, huh? Oh wait, I just did that.
Hold it!
I understand that your bride was in danger, but are you really able to move with a stab wound to the gut? I was desperately trying to push the pain out of my mind. I see, so adrenaline kicked in and gave you strength. Is that right? I don't see much of anything in this statement I can refute. That's right. I was passed out several times and made my way to the Vista deck.
Hold it!
You're absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket, that by the time you got to the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? Yes. But the Vista deck is just on the other side of the glass windows in the reception hall. Shouldn't you have been able to get there right away?
Jackson.
Mr. Wright, have you investigated nothing? The only way to the Vista is to go through the hold and take the lift. No matter how much one hurries, it would take at least 10 minutes. Well, that's unhelpful. Somehow to have gotten there before the murder. Oh, my claim won't stand. Do you have any ideas for me, Maya? It's totally easy to prove that someone did go to the hole but not. You can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? Can't leave anything. Wait a minute, I think there's something here. I'm almost certain something actually proves that Soren didn't go to the hold. What's the matter? He was stumped already? No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. I know for a fact that Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold. You and your paper-thin bluffs. Mr. Sprocket's blood stain on the lift proves he went through the hold. So what possible proof could you have that he did not, in fact, go through there? You want proof? You got it! You can do this, Phoenix. There's gotta be some proof that Soren didn't go through the hold. Well, Mr. Wright? It's proof that Mr. Sprocket didn't go through the hold.
Take that!
As anyone can see from the hold entry record, there's absolutely no mention of Soren Sprocket entering the hold. It answers us that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the Vista deck. You can assert all you want, Mr. Wright, but you can actually prove another route exists. Can I prove the existence of another route to the Vista deck, you ask? Not yet. Well, now that I really think about it, I guess it's going to be hard to prove. But I can't back down. I'll trial me over if I do. It's the only thing I can do at a time like this. I can prove it! Even if it's just a bluff, I have to present something. I need to prove the existence of a faster route to the Vista deck. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This is how Mr. Smollett got to the Vista deck. Surely not, right? Right?
Take that!
Seeing his bite from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way along the outside wall to the Vista deck. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? I was trying to make much faster route to the Vista deck. I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you could muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get from the reception hall to the Vista deck. One slip and that would all it would take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death. I have to agree. Mrs. Claims really should it. I understand how it sounds, Your Honor. But at this point, it's too early to definitively say that he didn't go that way. So that's what you're going with then, I take it? Of course, Your Honor. This is real life, Mr. Wright, not some cinematic drivel or comic book. Do you have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us of your claim? I do. You sure, Nick? Kind of. Actually, I have nothing. So I just have to wing it somehow. On what do you base your theory that Mr. Sprocket made his way along the outside? The theory that he was able to go along the outside wall despite the danger is based on... Say the bride he loves, the groom risked his life and rushed her to her side. Mr. Sprocket was able to make it to the Vista deck despite the danger, because of the power of love. Power of love? It falls from above? Love is a source of strength that can help one overcome any obstacle. I think I relate, thanks to my long, happy marriage. Wow, yeah, Jesus, you're flying it. The power of love, you say? A kind of illogical argument is hardly viable in a court of law. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I'm afraid not, Mr. Drift. You should never underestimate the power of love. You'll understand one day when you get back. Which I won't. Okay. Okay. You, I think we've hit a nerve with Edgeworth there. He doesn't know about Phoenix's undying love for him. It's so sad. It's so sad. Anyway. Exactly what is so wrong with wishing to remain unwed? I set him off, Your Honor. Look, never mind all this unscientific nonsense. Are you aware, Mr. Wright, at the time of the crime, there was a huge propeller turning at full speed between the hatch and the Vista deck. Even if a person were to go outside through the hatch, they'd be blown away in an instant. Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright? A huge spinning propeller, you say? Well, in that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible. I should have known. Nick, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. Most of the times when liars have to force their biggest smiles. Right? Right. I like I just saw Mia looking out at me through Maya's eyes. So did I! That felt very Mia-ish. Are we gonna get Mia back? Maya, are you gonna channel Mia? I don't know how I feel about a 3D Mia. That's it. I don't know how I feel. 3D Maya is strange enough. I don't know how I feel about 3D Mia. So, yeah. Anyway. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you keeping me like a giant sunfish? Thank you, Mark. You just helped me remember something really important. There it is. There's that fearless smile I was looking for. Now, give us a mind-blowing theory, just like you always do. That's time me thinking around. Considering how Soren could have moved past that huge propeller, I had to think about what would have made it possible for him to do so. Your Honor, Mr. Wright only makes that ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore, please do hurry and give your room before that. Mr. Edgeworth, it's still far too early to discount my theory. What are you talking about now, you blithering nitwit? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded it to pieces. But if we think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it. Stop trying to stall, Mr. Wright, and show us how it could have been even remotely possible, if at all. I must agree with Mr. Edgeworth. Very well, Your Honour. There must have been a way. Some way that something could have moved along the wall in spite of the propeller. Now then, Mr. Wright, what specifically would have made it possible? This is how it would have been possible for Mr. Sprocket to get to the Vista deck. What allowed Mr. Sprocket to go along the outside wall, in spite of the propellers, is the location of the flying chapel at the time of the crime. Location of the flying chapel? What was it, flying high in the sky? No, Your Honour. I'm afraid it wasn't. What? Then where was it? At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but moored to the ground. What? If the airship wasn't flying, then that means the propellers weren't turning. Oh, here he goes again. In which case, Mr. Sprocket could have gotten to the Vista deck along the outside wall. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? I don't remember. He stabbed himself with his pencil. It's gotta leave a mark.
Objection!
Even if the propellers weren't turning, it would have been far too risky to go that way. But Mr. Edgeworth, you're forgetting about the power of love. Yes, the amazing power of love. It still falls from above. Fade afar. Not this again. Very well. For the sake of argument, let's assume this so-called power of love made it possible for Mr. Sprocket to move along the outside wall of the airship. Can you prove the airship was tied to the ground as you claim, Mr. Wright? Well, I don't have any evidence to prove where the airship was at the time. You can prove it, can't you? Can you think of anything we can use to prove it? I can't say I can. Oh no, wait. Didn't somebody see something outside a window at the time of the crime? I think I remember saying as much. Do I have a piece of evidence that shows what was outside the airship? Well, what are you waiting for? Okay. This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the crime.
Take that!
This piece of evidence shows that what was outside the airship at the time of the murder. What kind of lousy drawing is that? It's a drawing made by Larry Butts. And what can you prove with that poor attempt at artistry? Hey, what do you mean, poor attempt? I put my heart and soul into that. Nick, you tell him. I ain't saying nothing like, damn you, Nick. Anyway, Larry made this drawing before he switched the lanterns, so it must have been right around when the murder was being committed. Now, if you direct the court's attention here. Is that a pterodactyl? Does that mean airship actually went back in time to the Cretaceous period?
Objection.
We've already proven that time travel is nothing more than a gimmick, did we not? Yeah, I suppose. But I don't care. I still like the idea of time travel, so shush. We do, and I have no intention of bringing up that argument again. This drawing shows us an important piece of information. It shows that the airship was actually moored to the ground. And what makes you so sure? That's easy. All you have to do is consider who made this drawing. Ba-da-ba-bum-bum. Larry. That's right. It was Mr. Botts, and we both know what he's like. He must have seen something else and mistaken it for a pterodactyl. It's a pterodactyl! I don't understand what's wrong with you guys. Shut up, Larry. I can't really argue with you there. I knew it! Hey, wait in one doggone second here. What kind of moron do you guys take me for? I saw it with my own eyes. A pterodactyl rifle right by the window, I tell you. I am a sharp-eyed artist. Do you believe me? No. Nick! Nope. Some friends you guys are. What about the judge? You believe me. Right, Your Honor? I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you need to leave this courtroom. Bailiff, just take him out. Shoot him if you have to. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Why doesn't anyone believe me? Fine. Don't take it personally, Larry. I know you're just being... well, you. Now then, as you were saying, what Mr. Butts really saw bears some relation to what was outside the airship at the time of the murder, right? Yes, Your Honor. At least I think it does. What this pterodactyl really is will prove the airship is anchored to the mooring dock. It had better, anyway. If it doesn't, my whole argument is a bust. If you're all that confident about it, then please go ahead and tell us what it really was. Yes, Your Honor. Think, Phoenix, what could that pterodactyl have actually been?
Take that!
Please take a good look at this sign. And the sign? Appears to have been broken and then repaired. What does the sign have to do with the pterodactyl? Please focus on this part of the sign. Forest of Serenity, Lake Good. The bottom broke off and got reattached? What about it? How about if we turn it like this? Oh, that shape! It's the pterodactyl drawing! What Mr. Butts actually saw was this chunk as it was being blown through the air by wind. What? On the day of the murder, there was some heavy winds in the area of the mooring dock, but it's hard to imagine the sign would make it up as high as an airship would fly. Well, that means the flying chapel must have been anchored at the mooring dock that night. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket?
Objection!
That's more than enough of this power of love nonsense, you pop culture junkie. Present all the proof you want, but your argument is based far too much in conjecture. Let me return to reality now. What do you mean too much in conjecture? Even if the airship wasn't flying, that alone doesn't prove the witness went along the wall. True, even now it's no more than a possibility. Now how do you propose Mr. Sprocket got to the vis deck, Mr. Edgeworth? I noticed something as we went over the evidence. Please take a look at this hold entry record. Well, what about it? I don't see Mr. Sprocket listed on here anywhere. Yep. Don't you remember? In yesterday's session we had a very similar kind of argument. Did we? Honestly, Mr. Wright, are you going senile already? We talked about Larry Butts using the defendant's keycard to enter the hold. Oh, we did talk about that, didn't we? God damn it. In other words, even if a person's name isn't on the entry record, it's still possible for that person to have entered by using someone else's card. Mr. Sprocket. Mr. Sprocket. Mr. Bite, will you shut up? Oh, fine, whatever. You went to the hole with Mr. Cody, didn't you? Oh, we're actually getting somewhere. I did. What? I stopped screaming for this? Why didn't you tell us that in the first place? Pierce is... hello. Pierce is indispensable. I don't want to mention him unnecessarily risk having him wrongly accused, so, I couldn't do without him. Mrs. Morit, I see you testify in greater detail about your movements that night. The truth is, I went to the Vista deck with Pierce. That's why my name doesn't appear on the hold entry record. Pardon me. I was badly injured from being stabbed, but, well, I was frantic. By the time we reached the scene, it was all over. Well, this doesn't help me one bit. Mr. Sprocket, you've concealed information from us time and time again. Who do you think you are, treating this court of law with such irreverence? That being said, I do appreciate the testimony you gave just now. Thanks to you, we now know why your name doesn't appear on the entry record. Now, there are no more inconsistencies in the witness testimony. It's Mr. Edgeworth for you. You never leaves loose end dangling. You good, Nick? I wouldn't exactly call this situation okay. I mean, somehow I'll have to coax the information we need for an opening out of him. If I even can, that is. Hello. Could you untie me, please? That's where I'm going with this. Yes, I try to do Matt Smith, but it's not going so well. It's not the best impression I've done, but there we go. The truth is, I went to the Vista deck with Pierce. You didn't mention this because you didn't want Mr. Nicody to fall under suspicion. Is that because he has something to hide? I honestly don't want the police to take up on his time with all their questions, that is. And now the company and all the household will function smoothly without him. I see. Wow. It sounds like Pierce is absolutely indispensable for the Sprockets. Anyway, getting back to your statement. When did you meet up with Mr. Nicody? We met up on my way to the Vista deck. I think Pierce and some of my relatives were running on the floor. But Pierce heard the commotion and, well, came running to my aid. You could hear the pandemonium all the way from another floor? That's right. Would you like the current statement added to the witness's testimony? Have it added, in case. Yes, please, Your Honour. Very well. Okay. Intriguing. Very intriguing. Did Mr. Nicody come alone? I believe some of his subordinates were with him, but I don't remember exactly how many. You may say there were others, but seeing how they pulled our second reception off, I can't completely trust anything he has to say either. I see. So you, Mr. Nicody, and a few others headed to the Vista deck, is that right? That's right. Your name doesn't appear on the hold entry record because you entered with Mr. Cody using his keycard. Well, that's right, yes. So I guess the whole entry record doesn't matter as much as we thought. Now that Soren's saying he was with Pierce and a few others, it's pretty tough to refute that statement. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Cut out your tongue? Or did you finally realize there's no point in continuing with this trial any longer? Of course not! I'll wipe that smug off and look on your face. Mr. Sprocket, please continue with the testimony.
Hold it!
Speaking of your injury, how are you doing now? The knife wound is deep and continues to throb with pain. Unfortunately, my internal organs were spared. But one wrong move, I would have spelt the end of me there. Even so, I've seen you up and about all over the place since the incident. I'm only following my doctor's orders to perform some daily light exercises. Mr. Wright, you'd like Mr. Sprocket's statement about his condition added to his testimony? Not that it is especially relevant to me. Shall I have it added to his testimony? Have it added? Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to have it added to his testimony. I see. Very well.
Objection!
Knife wound? Mr. Sprocket, you just said your injury here is a knife wound, didn't you? The weapon you were stabbed with was this candelabra. A fact I know you're quite aware of. Very well. This is what I heard directly from Master Soren himself. She surmised Master Soren was stabbed by Grisby on the day of the murder. It happened after the first wedding reception. The happy couple was in the reception hall when suddenly Grisby appeared. He attacked Miss Ellen and tried to take her away. Master Soren went to stop him and found himself in a struggle with Grisby. That is when Master Soren was stabbed with the candelabra, he said. Yeah. Well, you don't know that. Oh, God damn it. Shit. Must have been a simple memory slip that made him misspeak. Happens to everyone. It has nothing to do with the case. You must be pretty desperate to point out something so minute. I have to agree, Mr. Wright. You hardly need to make such a big deal of a small mistake. But I contend that it's an important inconsistency. Since I couldn't find anything else, it's the only thing I have to go after. But I say it's not important. Let's not waste any more time on this matter. I agree. Everybody has a little memory lapse every now and then. But, Your Honor, please let me explain. But can you? Can you really explain to this court what makes this slip so important? Yes, I can, Your Honor. After all, it was Soren himself who told Pierce that he had been stabbed by a candelabra. This is more a simple memory slip. There has to be some kind of reason for it. Well, Mr. Wright, please explain why the witness's slip of the tongue is so important. The point of focus on here is why the witness was mistaken the weapon used to stab him. Think carefully, Phoenix. This could very well change the course of the trial. I see. So why did the witness make this mistake, Mr. Wright? It's probably didn't have the wrong weapon used against him because... he doesn't remember the incident, let alone the weapon used against him. Not only that, I believe Mr. Sprocket has some sort of memory disorder. Therefore, the defense contends that Mr. Sprocket's testimony thus far is invalid. Just because you can't find a flaw in his testimony, you want to throw it all out? Your baseless claim is nothing but pure slander of the witness's character. Mr. Edgeworth is correct, Mr. Wright. Can you explain your grounds for making this claim? Of course, Your Honor. Think of what Soren has said, how he's behaved. That's where I'll find a clue. Well, let's hear your argument then. The grounds for claiming that Mr. Sprocket has a memory disorder is his notebook. The notebook he always has with him. I saw daily events and information about the people around him recorded in it. Like a diary, perhaps? No, Your Honor. It's much too detailed to be an ordinary diary. It's more on the order of a database, actually. A database, you say? That's right. For some reason, Mr. Sprunk is apparently unable to retain memories. That's why he writes every little detail of his life down in his notebook. How could you possibly know that for sure? He might be an extremely compulsive person. I thought so too, myself. Well, first... But, to be honest, we accidentally got a stain on that notebook yesterday. You mean you got no stain on it? Hey, you're the one who tried to grab it out of my... Never mind whose fault it was, just get to the point already. Right, sorry. Mrs. Pocket... Page Miss Faye got a stain on yesterday. That's the page with the details of your stabbing on it, isn't it? No, I only read this notebook because I'm very compulsive. Now drop the subject already. Sorry, but I'm not convinced. I know it's an odd fact about your notebook, Mr. Sprocket. On the earlier pages, you used it to write down invention ideas, but after a certain date, you started to write down a lot more, and in much more detail. I believe your memory disorder stems from what happened on that date. Something so monumental it caused a memory disorder, Mr. Wright. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Do you? Sorry, but I do know what I'm talking about. And this is the proof. This is the thing that caused Mr. Sprocket's memory disorder.
Take that!
You were involved in this car accident too, weren't you, Mr. Sprocket? And the shock of losing your beloved older sister is what caused you to develop your memory disorder. Is this true, Mr. Sprocket? Well, is it? Mrs. Sprocket! It's true. The accident did something to my mind. What? Ever since that day, every time I go to sleep, I lose my memories. And when I wake up, the most recent thing I can remember is the day I lost my sister. It's as if I'm constantly going back in time. What? That's truly tragic. An inconsolable time traveler who goes back in time whenever he goes to sleep. Besides, time travelers do exist, you know. Do you understand? So that's what Sora meant. He was talking about himself. The actions of the people around me each time I awoke made me aware of my condition. That's why I decided to write everything down in my notebook, so we can move forward. So the memories you have since that day are the ones written in that notebook. That's right. And since the page about your stabbing got stained, you couldn't read from it, could you? There's just one more thing I'd like you to clarify for me, Mr. Sprocket. Exactly what are your feelings toward the victim? Mr. Sprocket's feelings toward Miss Gloomsbury? That's right, Your Honour. Witness said that every time he wakes up from sleep, his mind goes back to the day his sister died. Mr. Wright, you can't mean... Mr. Sprocket... Your pent-up feelings of anger and resentment towards Mr. Gloomsbury for the accident were renewed each and every time you woke, were they not? But you couldn't take it anymore, so you turned to murder. Isn't that right? What? Mr. Rice, you saying that the witness murdered Mr. Gloomsbury? For revenge? Ugh. Well, Mr. Sprocket... Miss Wyatt. Your Honour. I killed Mr. Gloomsbury. No! What? Miss Wyatt, what are you trying to do? That is going down that route. Sorry to say, you can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Alan, please, try and get a hold of yourself. I guess you really meant it. My sorry, didn't do anything wrong. I'm the one who should be convicted.
You don't understand you're not confessing your guilt?
No. Now, wait just a minute. Alan, why would you cover for me? After I was testified that I thought you must have killed him. I'll admit, I couldn't believe my ears at first. But all I want is for you to be happy. Your happiness is my happiness, Soren. Without my notebook, I'd even forget those feelings of yours by tomorrow. Now that, do you still feel this way? You've loved me all this time, same way you did before the accident. That's how I know. You're the same person you've always loved. No disorder can change that. Alan. Your Honor, there are two things I'd like to correct.
Two corrections? What are they?
First of all, I want to withdraw one of my statements. That's right. Dumas was killed by Alan. Without memories to rely on, I took the police completely at their word.
You can't be serious.
So that means Soren never really doubted Alan in the first place, did he, Nick? Alan really just lost Soren with all his heart. But in order to save her, I'll still have to go after Soren. I hope you can forgive me, Alan.
What is your other correction? What is your other correction, Mr. Bucket?
The truth is, I never really felt anger or resentment towards Dumas about my sister. But why not? That's because the one who caused the car accident was me. What? Explain. I need what? What? I need help understanding. Please continue, Mrs. Pocket. I don't want to kill my sister. To protect my career and my future, my father made Dumas to take the blame. In exchange for money and the position of lead servant. Jesus Christ. So you see, Dumas held a grudge against me, not the other way around. He must have attacked Ella to get his revenge on me. Are you sure about all this, Mr. Sprocket? Very sure. It's all been written down in detail in my notebook.
That notebook is important evidence supplying background to this case. What is this you submitted as evidence?
The lawyer said I had talented murder, but that's just not true. However, it is true that my older sister and Dumas are both dead because of me and my negligence.
That is glass in Mr. Sprocket's notebook. I wasn't able to read the part about when he was stabbed due to the bloodstein. What's written here? What is this? This accident is exactly as he stated.
Your Honor, as long as it matches what's written in that notebook, can we still take the witness's testimony as valid, in spite of memory disorder?
Yes, I believe we can.
I understand now that the witness's memory is in disarray. But if what Mr. Sprocket himself wrote in his notebook is true, then that means by the time Mr. Sprocket's party reached the scene, the victim had already been killed. Edgeworth's right. It's still in the same bind as before, but should he really accept the contents of that notebook? As a substitute for Soren's memory.
I was right, what do you think? We accept Mr. Pocket's notebook as an official representation of his memories?
And I said this. Oh, god damn it. I'm gonna say yes. Your Honor, I can accept Mr. Sprocket's notebook as... Nick, are you sure about that? Not really. I mean, I really don't like where this is going. Your Honor, a defendant requests a timeout.
There are no timeouts in the court of law. Give me your answer, no dawdling.
This is an important point. I need to be careful in how I answer. Okay, no then, I suppose. A defendant requests a chance to examine the notebook to see if it's trustworthy.
Very well. We'll agree about it.
Thank you, Your Honor. So how should we examine it? Well, we should look at it from all different angles to see if there's anything suspicious. There's no point if I don't look at what's inside. I'll have to open it. And with your permission, Soren, here we go. Yikes! Oh, it's just the page my got all stained. I guess it's not going to be very helpful at this moment. I'll keep going. This is the last page where there's writing. Something about this page doesn't sit with me. I might take a closer look. Huh? The page has been torn out. So there was something written on it. Mrs. Pocket, do you know what was written on it? Oh, that? That's the entire page when I write somebody a note. I probably wrote something down for somebody, tore it out and gave it to them. Oh yeah. That solves that.
Objection!
Oh, wait a minute. You can't ignore the possibility that something important was written on that page.
Oh, now the page has been torn out. Wait a minute. Okay. How can we determine what was written there?
Well, let's see. To find out what was written in the notebook, we should... If we use fingerprint powder on the notebook, we might be able to see what was written.
Fingerprint powder? How would that help us find out what was written there?
Well, if the writing left indentations on the blank page behind it, fingerprint powder could make those small indentations visible to the naked eye. Oh, stop. Fingerprint powder would only sully the notebook further.
Try to use the powder and still don't find anything. Then you must accept the notebook as a representation of witnesses' memories.
Alright, Your Honor, I understand. If you don't find anything, it's over anyway. Powder, don't fail me now. I want to use the fingerprint powder on the blank page to find out if we can see what was written on the torn out page. Firstly, I'll apply some fingerprint powder to these pages with X. When I've just used enough powder, I'll use blow triangle to blow the excess powder away. Something should appear. I should switch to analyze mode. Point to what came up, then confirm my choice. Oh, okay. Dumas took Ellen to the Vista deck. I struck and killed Dumas. Looks like I didn't quite get enough fingerprint powder on the page. I get better just a little more. Says I struck and killed Dumas. This is huge! I struck and killed Dumas. That's what was written on the turnout page. What? It can't be. I don't believe it. There has to be some kind of mistake. So I would never, could never. Oh. Miss Wyatt! Will you please get offended to her at once? Well, I'm defending on too worked up. She's resting in infirmary as we speak. Please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor, this notebook is all Mr. Sprocket has to remember things by. With this critical page torn out, not even Mr. Sprocket himself knew the truth of what he'd done. I'm the one who killed Dumas? So it wasn't Helen. Oh, thank goodness. Mr. Sprocket, does this mean you were at a crime scene during the murder after all? I guess I must have been. Mr. Sprocket, can you really believe what's written in this notebook? Nobody touches this notebook but me. When I sleep, it's under lock and key. I don't remember writing I killed Dumas, but I guess I must have. Well, now that we have a confession, I'm afraid I must render my verdict. Oh, yes, sir. Please give your ruling now, while Ellen is asleep. I want the woman I love to be set free as soon as possible. So he does love Ellen after all, doesn't he? Yeah. So this is how it ends, but is that really how it really went down? Is there really no way for them to both be happy? I know we should consider anything written down in a notebook we said to be the truth, but still, I myself wrote of the crime in my notebook. No further proof is necessary. Simon himself wrote it in his notebook? Wait a minute. Very well. I will now give my verdict. Ellen is about to be found not guilty and certainly convicted of the crime instead. And yet, are you really ready for the judge to give us this ruling? No! No. Well, there's still one more avenue left to explore. Disqualified as defendant, Ellen Wyatt. Your Honour, there's still something that bothers me about that notebook. And that's something we'll all find out in the next episode. I think that's a good place to leave off. If you guys did enjoy this episode, however, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help. Click the bell icon down to be notified when I live stream or upload a video. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!